Now let's talk about the next market structure, which is the complete opposite of perfect competition, which is monopolies. So a monopoly is just one firm that produces all of the output in a market. It's the complete opposite of perfect competition, where we had many firms selling an identical product. So in the market, we had multiple firms, and so each firm had a small market share in that. So basically, if they sold like 1,000 t-shirts, each shop sold like 10 shirts, right? So each one had a small market share, but with a monopoly, since they're the only one, they have the entire market that they're selling to. All right, so there are no close substitutes. Some examples of monopolies would be the U.S. Postal Service. They are the only firm that could be the largest carrier of letter mail. In your local town, you have your garbage collection. We only have one firm that you're basically paying in to do that. All right. Electric companies are the same thing, where you only have that one firm that you're paying for utilities. All right. Internet Explorer kind of had a monopoly as well from the mid 1990s to 2004. And the real reason was because everybody had Microsoft, and Microsoft included Internet Explorer in their software. So automatically they had a monopoly in terms of a search engine. So going back to what we're talking about, there's only one firm that's producing the entire market. Now, technology has made competition more possible over time, so we don't really have many monopolies these days, or we've had more deregulation of monopolies. AT&T used to be the only phone company to legally provide local and long distance service. Back in that day, it was really more efficient to have one firm do it. But as technology grew, it actually was more efficient to have multiple firms and increase competition that way. We'll talk about natural monopolies in chapter 11, where we kind of go into this a little bit further. So most deregulations took place in 1970s to 1990s. Now, more about what makes a monopoly would be high barriers to entry. So with perfect competition, we had free entry and free exit. So you could start a business tomorrow if you wanted to. But with monopoly, there are barriers that are stopping you from entering the market. It could be very high cost of machinery. So the firm that can buy the big machine in order to start producing a product, only they can enter the market. So not everybody can afford it, so they can't enter. Or maybe you have to have a high advertising budget just to be noticed in the market. So just the high cost to start really sets you up for failure in terms of entering the market. Another thing that a monopoly has would be a control over a physical resource. So like De Beers had a monopoly in the diamond market because they were the sole producer in 4 continents. So like they had control of the diamonds. So if you wanted to enter the diamond market, you couldn't really do it because they owned that land that they were working with. Okay. Natural monopolies are something we do have, such as electric companies and utility companies. It's actually better to have one firm due to the idea of economies of scale. The higher quantity that we have, the lower the cost is, so it's better for them to do that. We do have legal monopolies, laws that prohibit competition. So back to the U.S. Postal Service is legally allowed to deliver first-class mail. We also have one electric company for your city and things like that. Other monopolies can happen because of protection of intellectual property. So patents are a great example of this. If you create an invention and you put a patent on it, only you can sell that. So that is making a monopoly for you. If you have trademarks and copyrights, these are ways to where only one firm has it. Okay, so firms do have an incentive for new inventions and things like that. Now, monopolies also have the power of predatory pricing. So it's like, basically the Michael Scott argument. If you ever watch The Office, his sales pitch to a city was the fact that, like, hey, we have this local paper company, and if you wanted to go with the cheaper big company, right, what they're going to do is price us so low to where that moves us out of business, and then what? Once we're gone, they're going to raise the prices again. So that's kind of predatory pricing, where the monopoly has so much power that they can lower prices below the cost of production in order to gain more customers. This is illegal, but it is really hard to prove. But that is what a monopoly has, is that power of predatory pricing. Okay, so what we're going to get into after this is talk about what monopolies, like what the graph looks like, how they price out products and things like that. Here's a little summary of what we talked about with the different barriers to entry, such as natural monopoly, control of physical resource, legal monopoly, patents, and intimidating potential competitors. So there is some level of government control there. So the governments do step in because they do want to promote competition in certain areas, but in other ways they don't because they want to increase innovation and efficiency. And so monopolies have happened in the past, but not really. We do like to focus on competition, but they are still in some areas. Okay. So next we'll talk about profit maximization for a monopoly. All right.